Over the course of my health and fitness and weight loss journey, one element that I never really thought about was what the message could be for those people who don't need to lose weight. I sat down this past week with a guy that was 165 pounds, and that's soaking wet. And he said, "You know what irritates me?" I'm like, "No, what irritates you?" He said, "It's whenever people assume because I am skinny that I'm not interested in learning about the journeys of people losing weight." I'm like, I was kind of curious as to why, so I asked a couple questions. He said, "It's because they assume when they see that I'm skinny that I'm automatically healthy, but they don't take into consideration what my cholesterol might be, what my blood pressure might be. Some of the same steps and the food changes and the diet changes, exercise changes that people make on a weight loss journey is of interest to him because he thinks that it could help impact him on his health and fitness as well." And I got thinking about it and thought that could be a very valid point. Now, when it comes to weight loss and the journey, and part of the reason why, of course, we were having this conversation was because he's seen the changes that I have made. Going from 2X shirts down to large shirts in a lot of cases, for example. So it becomes a visual picture for people. And over the 173 days, so far it is 71.6 pounds. Next picture won't be published for another 7 days because I've been doing every 30-day pictures. Now, one of the things that's been a big component for me along this journey, and I think you're going to see more and more come out where it's more significant to have strength training throughout the process. Now, I do understand certain people have limitations and certain restrictions they can do. Now, I'm not strictly talking about weight loss whenever I come to this, although I have found some interest in following some other channels on YouTube lately and listened to one where a guy was 330 pounds, but how he's now lost considerable amount of weight and how's he done it. He actually did it by diet and exercise changes. He didn't use things like Mounjaro like I did, or any additional aids in that process. And that's something I'm looking at those stories and following those stories because I want sustainability after Mounjaro, because my insurance has already cut me off when it comes to Mounjaro. Well, I think I have like 4 to 5 shots left in the refrigerator. And just as a means to make sure that I do reach my final goal, I'm actually probably going to begin to wean off of those now so that I at least have something reserved if I need it to hit my goal. Now, I will say in the meantime, there's a couple of things that I've already started taking. Clean Burn, I've taken the whole entire time. That's a product that's loaded with caffeine, natural caffeine, so it kind of helps me along the way. The berberine, if you're not familiar with that, is supposed to provide some of the natural aspects that more similar to what Mounjaro does. And I'm only going to take that for a temporary time frame as I step away from Mounjaro, because one of the things that my wife's doctor told her recently is that a lot of people have a tendency to put on about 2/3 of the weight that they lost from Mounjaro. Now, typically that is, from what my understanding of the communication has been to this point, is if somebody's on a higher dose and they come off too quickly and they're not doing resistance training, they're not doing some of the aspects that can really help along the way. And regarding resistance training, if you follow my story, there's one thing that you know that I've done is it was a program called LIIFT4, and that's by Beachbody. And that particular program, I'm coming to the end of that one. This is my last week on that journey. And from here, I'm going to progress over to a program by the same trainer. It's called LIIFT More. It's going to be 5 days a week, where the LIIFT4 program was 4 days a week. And in the LIIFT More program, the progression just gets to where you do more reps and you increase the weight a little bit more. I have had to make some additions. I had to buy a weight bench, so that's going to be here sometime this weekend or early next week. Just trying to get things a little bit more organized too, to take away my excuses to not do the exercise, whether that's adding a weight rack or adding additional weights to my fitness routine. One of the things that I was doing over the last month until this past week and a half, I really had to slack off on my exercise. I was using an adjustable dumbbell. Word to caution to anybody who's using one of those, that they have some plastic pieces on the inside, so make sure you have a quality one, so you don't have those plastic pieces, but a couple of my weights fell off. Fortunately, the dumbbell was not above my head whenever the weights came off. I'm really looking forward to getting started on this LIIFT More program, because as I've dropped my weight down now to 218 pounds, I'm really hoping that I can really start to increase the workout routines with a little more ease than whenever I started the LIIFT4 program. You may have heard me in the past say that when I tried to do LIIFT4 and it was a burpee, I was calling it a hiccup because I couldn't do it. It's been one of the nice things to see a progression in this, that I can actually see myself improving, not just in the amount of weight volume that I can lift, but just in my ability to do the particular routines. So don't know where you're at on your particular journey, but if you're trying to get involved in exercise, I'm actually going to post a video in here that was a link to an older video by Beachbody that was somebody who was heavier and it was trying to get him started to do like a routine, it might, I don't know what your starting point is, so it might be something worth checking out. So it's going to be linked in the description. So if that's something of interest to you, go check it out. It's a starting point. The guy who was doing it, I don't know his exact weight, but I think he was closer to 400 pounds. So there is some things that a person can do to get started. And it was like a core routine without actually being on the ground. Something to really get a person going. Now, you heard me mention the Mounjaro already. So my Mounjaro is coming to an end, but while I hear some people talk about, and I hear the doctors caution about the sustainability after at times, that's why I've only ever stayed at the 5 milligram, except a 2-week period where I took the 7.5 milligram. But beyond that, I really just avoided it. And this year, as a means to make sure that my body didn't become super dependent upon Mounjaro, in January I took 2 weeks off of Mounjaro, and in March I basically went March without Mounjaro. And there was a couple of reasons for that. One was the supply availability and it's the cost of me getting it, and the second one was plain and simply because I wanted to know for myself and prove to myself that I could continue to have sustainability beyond the program. Because if I couldn't have then, I was going to begin to try to make some changes right then and there. And now that I'm in the phase of weaning off of this, maybe a lot more cold turkey than weaning off, in all honesty, because I want to keep those 4 or 5 that I got in the fridge on reserve and just kind of work out to achieve my success moving forward. Here's something I will say. I was losing about 15 pounds a month on average, especially in the early phases. And to give you an idea, the Mounjaro was a big help for me to change and curb my appetite. I don't know, it wasn't really much different as far as the weight loss goes compared to what I had done previously on LIIFT4. Before I started the stress eating, I did the LIIFT4 program and I lost 33 pounds in 2 months before. So I was losing at a similar clip when I exercised at that weight. Now that is a lot more intense workout than maybe some people want to do, but I would do LIIFT4, and like I said, now I'm going to LIIFT More, but then I also go out and walk. I mean, this week already, say I've lifted twice, and I've walked, jogged, ran a couple miles, twice as well. So it's Friday now, and so from Monday on, I've worked out 4 times already. So, and I'm going to work out yet tonight. So I'm really trying to hit that a lot harder and a lot heavier to be able to make some changes, because I mentioned that I was not working out as much. And what I can tell you is during the times I was not working out, my weight loss also slowed down. Whenever I started to ramp my workouts back up over the past week, I've already noticed I've lost about 3 more pounds. So it just makes a difference for me. I don't know what it does for you, but I can tell you what it does for me. And I also look at the levels. I use the Apple Watch here, and looking at the oxygen levels, and the maximum level of oxygen, the VO2 max. I've watched those levels for the longest time, even though I've been working out for quite a while. It was at what they considered a below average level. Now it finally, in the last couple weeks, has moved up above the above average level. So it's kind of nice to look at that and know that you're making changes and making progressions throughout the journey. So just want to say that good luck to you. I hope that you're continuing to have success, or if you haven't started your journey yet, that you do begin to have success, whether you choose to take Mounjaro or choose to do it by just diet and exercise. Regardless, whatever direction you go, to be in your corner pulling for you, hoping you have success, and good luck and God bless.